Hey y'all, this is Lucy of Paper Glitter Glue. I'm kind of looking disheveled. I've been working late trying to get all the files ready each day. So I'm gonna pull up YouTube. Wait, let me mute my computer so I can see your comments. I'm going to my channel now. And let's make gingerbread paint. I think there are a few people here. Oh, and let me know if you can hear me. Delvine, I see my brother, Deborah Bell, Gina, Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany. Dawn, Kathy Bradley. Oh, she went to a Christmas event, the Polar Express. Okay, so what I want to show you today is the how to make gingerbread paint. Hey, Sherry. So I made gingerbread paint the first time. It must have been around 2020. I was invited to one of Jennifer Maker's first events. The what was it? The first craft Maker Fest. It's what it was called, Maker Fest. And this is what I made. This was gingerbread. I'll show you when I do the with the phone. Use the top down. I'll show you. And I actually applied this one really well. It's nice and smooth, and it had wonderful fragrance. The fragrance has faded. It's 4 years old. The fragrance has faded, but I mean, it's like barely there. So I thought it was so cool to see gingerbread paint. You know, online, if you like Google gingerbread paint, a lot of people use it as kind of a tactile paint. They'll mix it with shaving cream or something like that, and kind of smear it around and let kids play with it, sort of finger paint with it. But I wanted to use it as like a paint to bring fragrance to your little houses. I mean, it's fun making all our little houses, but why not make them like so people can smell them too? It's never been very strong. It's not easy to mix enough spice into a paint that'll make it really strong, partly because it just gets too thick and it won't spread at all. But it's kind of a nice sort of medium thing. This is another one I did, and this one is, I think this one's also from 2020, and it does have a little fragrance, but you do kind of have to put it up to your nose. But when it was fresh, you did not. Okay, let me switch cameras and I will show you. I made some little gingerbread people, and I will include that pattern on day number 6, December 6th, when we're making our bakery, because I've got a really cute bakery pattern. I figured right in the middle of the event would be a good time. It would give people enough time to make the bakery. So I'm going to switch my cameras. I'm rotating. Halo effect. Let's see, switch cameras. There we go. Now my desk looks kind of messy today. That's because we are making a mess. This is probably a mess level 6. And let me show you some texture up close while you can see it. This is the one I was talking about I made in 2020. And the texture's nice too. It really looks like gingerbread. And see, in the South, gingerbread will not, you can't really keep it because it's too humid and it'll just fall apart. It won't last hardly any time. In fact, what's called the National Gingerbread Contest is in Asheville, about 70 miles away from me. And those houses are done around Thanksgiving, and they'll be kind of getting soggy and stuff will be falling off by the time Christmas rolls around. So gingerbread's a challenge in the South. And that's another reason I came up with this technique. Oh, I see Miss Sonia, Kathy Bradley. Okay, so these are the little ones. Oh, while I'm here, let me just show you these. So for the bakery, I wanted to be able to make some decorations. And so I made little tiny, I wanted to see if the Cricut would cut them out, like little teeny tiny gingerbread cookies. Okay, wait, can you see? Isn't that cute? Isn't that just the cutest little thing? So what I did was I shrunk down this pattern like 25%, and I just did 2 shapes. I did a tree, 3 shapes, a little girl and a little boy. I couldn't believe how well they cut out. So that will be in the pattern for the bakery too. But and I really like that there's a, you don't have to decorate them because it's hard to decorate when they're that tiny. So that's for Saturday, December 6th. We'll do the cookies and things in the live, and then the regular video will be making the bakery. All right, so these are I'm letting these kind of dry out. I just prepped them. You need a jar or let me move over a little bit. You need a jar or a pretty strong plastic container, acrylic paint, and I picked out a couple of shades because I might want to mix and match a little bit. You kind of have to decide what is the most gingerbread. You want a dark, kind of chocolatey, a dark, sort of dark chocolate looking gingerbread, or you want kind of a mellow gingerbread. So these are the 3 paints. Buy inexpensive paints because you have to use a lot. And then gingerbread spices. So I've got cinnamon, ground ginger. Let me move my paints out of the way. Cinnamon, ground ginger, nutmeg, cloves, allspice. Now, we all know everything's expensive these days, so you don't want to be using kind of your high quality stuff. And to make, these are the main, some of the spices that people use for gingerbread. Everybody has different recipes. Some add cardamom. But the main thing is, since we're painting for fragrance, that, add whichever spice contributes the most to the fragrance. Okay, Keisha likes the mellow color, the medium brown. So we'll mainly do this one, and it's my biggest one too. Okay, so allspice. I'm trying to sniff it without sneezing. Allspice has a pretty strong odor. Fragrance, rather. It's not an odor because it's pleasant. I think about odor as kind of stinky. Cloves are good. They seem to have about the same strength in fragrance. Nutmeg. Nutmeg's got pretty good fragrance. And fairly strong. That's really what I'm trying to get at. Now, ginger. Maybe my ginger is old, but it does not have a strong fragrance. So I put ginger in it to call it gingerbread paint, but not really for the fragrance. And it's really the cinnamon that gives you the most fragrance. This is a new jar. And I, like I said, use the least expensive spices you can find. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of emphasize, let me organize them by strength. So I'm going to emphasize these spices and just add ginger to call it gingerbread paint. And I forgot my spoon, but can you get my trusty assistant is going to get some measuring spoons for me, and they might be hanging up on my pot rack. There might be a set on the pot rack. If not, it'll be hanging on the dish rack. I just thought I'd try to approximate measurements, even though I don't really go with I kind of play by ear. I'm not a precision person. Okay, I got my measuring spoons. Let's start off with the cinnamon. I know I'm going to use that the most. Wrong. Let's use a teaspoon. I'm going to put it into my jar. And the other thing you need is I'm putting in 3 teaspoons. Because I got to paint my cookies and stuff. Okay, let me see. That's actually a lot of spice. So that's the cinnamon. Let's try allspice. I like the cloves. Cloves make your gingerbread darker. So that's why I brought some yellow paint if we have to lighten it up. And teaspoon of cloves. And then it's kind of our ginger, just to say we're making gingerbread spice. Gingerbread spice paint. It's kind of funny, you know, it's got such a great flavor, but at least this jar does not, and this isn't that old. Doesn't have that much fragrance to it. Okay, now I'm going to move my spices to the side. We'll probably add some more. Need a good way to stir it. I think a little plastic knife would be good. Just make this loud. Okay, now we're just going to squeeze it in, and we need a fair amount because I added a lot of spices. Let's see. Let me kind of show you on the side. It looks like I've added not quite as much of paint as I have in spices. So let's stir and see how thick it gets. You can also add some water to it if you have to. And what happens overnight, because the spices are so dry, your paint, if you save it for more than one day, your paint will get very, very thick. Now let me kind of compare colors. Looks good. I'm going to add some more. I like it a little thinner. And the smoother it is, the smoother it goes on. Let me show you these two. Let me see, you can kind of see the texture. And this went on really well, but not quite as smooth as the one I did in 2020. Okay, let's see. Now I have to ask my trusty assistant for a little bit of water. Because this is pretty thick. Let me put it, oops. I left one of my cookies out. My baby cookies were about to get there. See, there was a big clump of dry spice at the bottom. I'm going to add a little yellow just to moderate it a little bit. Moderate the color, lighten it up, because it just keeps getting darker. See how dark with all the spices we've added. It's really, really thick. Okay. Yeah, I may need to wash my hands. Now I think I'm getting it smoother. Even been messy with the water. Yes, I was really pleased with that design. I forgot, I don't know what the number is. I will add it to the description because I think it's I eventually added it to my website, to my paper glitter glue website. I think that's a pretty good spreadable texture. Okay, first I thought I would experiment on, let me temporarily move my paints to the side where my spices are. And let's just see how it smears, what it looks like when it smears. It looks good. I think that's a good texture. So let me show you. You can see the grainy texture of it. I think that's going to work. So for these cookies, the background is going to be white, but I'm going to paint the cookies themselves. So I made these. Let me move the background cookies because they don't need to be painted. And then this is the Alpine Christmas house that for day number 4 in the 2024 12 Days of Christmas. So I thought I would paint one version of this house and kind of see how it works. I'm kind of the boss of Ben at times, at least in terms of crafting. I did prime the cardboard. Not so much to help it take paint, but just so it'd be a solid surface. And I can get an idea of how much paint. Oh yeah, it does look like chocolate icing. It's a grainy chocolate icing though. It smells so good. Yeah, we got gingerbread. You do kind of have to stick your nose up to it. Okay, somebody asked me about saving it and sealing it. If you put a sealant over it, you actually seal up the spice, the fragrance. So I wouldn't cover it with, some kind of sealant. And I don't know if the big blobs worry you, then you can kind of smooth them out. But I just think it looks like gingerbread. Yeah, smell-o-vision. That would be fun. So if you could smell it, I think Sherry said that. One more. One more side, rather. There's the little gingerbread house. And then to decorate it, paper towel, wet paper towel. For this one, I just used cutouts to decorate it. I really wanted it to be more precise, partly because I don't pipe things very often, but obviously you can pipe it. This is kind of a diluted texture paste, and I kind of piped it, not that well, but and then you can draw on it. I experimented with a white gel pen. And I think they've got a white gel pen that's thicker. It begins with a P, Pasco, something like that. Yes, the texture does look like stucco. Yes. This is at least a mess level 5. Okay, now I want to see how painting the gingerbread paint on my ornaments, how it works out around the cutout parts. This is, I think these are 4 layers of cardboard for my little gingerbread people. So I really, if you're going to put a thick paint like this, I really wanted to make sure that my cardboard would hold it. If you just have one flat layer of cardboard, it'll bend. Now the house is already kind of glued in a house structure, so it doesn't get as warped. But a flat piece of cardboard or paper would kind of get wrinkly. With a paint as thick as this. And just see how, oh, I did paint both sides. And in the little, when you get the gingerbread house pattern, I made it 2 ways. I made one with no holes in the head, and then one with holes so you could hang it. But the one with no holes, I made so that it would, yeah, see, I think mess level 6. That's a very good point, Keisha. You know you've made it a good batch of gingerbread paint and gingerbread cardboard cookies when people want to eat them. Okay, I meant to bring a not paper clip. My toothpick, because I figured I was going to need it for inside the cutouts. Oh my goodness, Ben's going to have to get up again. Ben, can you just hand me a tool? It's called a stylus. It's got a white handle. No, it's in there. It's yes. That's not this. You're almost touching it. Yeah, you got my stylus. That's it. This is a stylus, so if I can clear out the mouth and the buttons. Maybe I should leave a plain one, so I really think you can kind of poke that stuff out when it's dry. And this takes a little while. I haven't made a big batch in a while, so I'm not sure how long it takes to dry. Okay, that's little gingerbread man. Little girl. Oh, I think Ben was talking about, yeah, one of my old boyfriends. We were at a bread store, and they had this beautiful display, and they had these buns, these rolls out, and we were like college students and poor, and it looked like they were on display for you to eat. And he started crunching down on it, and it was like preserved. The lady's like, "Don't eat that." Yeah, they were horrified. He was a pretty decent athlete and was always hungry. Okay, I think that's enough painting, so you get the idea of how thick it is. And that's actually too much on my brush. And this is one of my, I call it my scroungy brushes. It's got a very stiff bristle. I think this would be a fun craft with kids if you can put, cover the table up with paper and make sure they wear either an apron or their clothes are protected or they're wearing old clothes, and just paint some. The other thing is, in my pattern, I'll take away the holes so you have a solid gingerbread shape and you don't have to worry about painting the holes, getting the gingerbread paint in the holes. All right. Let me see. Does anybody have any questions about this really sophisticated craft? Okay, so wait, I have to wash my hands a little bit better. I used my paper towels from yesterday, so I can touch my computer. And there. Okay, let me switch cameras. Rotate this camera away. Okay. What do you think of the gingerbread paint? Yeah, don't eat it. You have to put up a sign like they did at the store. Don't eat it. Keisha, that's a very good question, asking how long will the fragrance last. It's strong for 1 year, and then you kind of have an idea that it's there after a year. But you still have the technique and it still looks like gingerbread. This one is from 2020, and if I pick it up, I can smell it, but not strong. So that's 4 years old. So I think 2 years is really, really about it. But it's mostly effective for the first year. Okay, y'all, I think that's it. That's it for today. And tomorrow, we're going to do a log cabin. That is the pattern that I'm going to share tomorrow, is a kind of a log cabin from my wreath workshop. And then we're going to, I'm going to show you how to kind of mimic a log cabin effect on your little houses. Okay. Yeah, somebody said drop cloth. Baby wipes would be good. Yes. One of my cats, Alley Cat, was trying to help me for a while, but fortunately she ran off. Okay. I think I'll see y'all tomorrow, and I hope you enjoy making the Alpine Christmas house today in day number 4 of the my Christmas event. And y'all have a good day, and I hope you get to do something fun. Oh wait, somebody said about putting the back piece on. I don't really know. Let me scroll and see if I can find. I think the question, if you're going to glue it. You're right, Gina, you're right. You don't need to paint the back. That's exactly right. I had my hands full. I had my paintbrush, so I went ahead and painted it. But you're exactly right. It will glue much better to the white background if you don't paint the back side. Good question. Okay, and I'll try to remember for tomorrow. On the 6th, I'll show you the cookies. Okay, alrighty. Like I said, y'all have a good day, and you take care. Okay, bye, y'all.